only see the light when you're not far, but when you're here, it makes all the difference when you're near. Oh, I see so much clearer. Stays like fire, so bright, burning up the whole inside and outside and inside my heart. Street lights won't get me far, just keep me under the sun.
It is October 13th, and I just found out that I am for sure pregnant. I can't even believe how grateful, how excited I am to be a mom. So there he is, because I'm not so up a little bit, but I feel huge. He's been moving a lot, which has been great. But yeah, there's a big old belly.
Right there.
Standing in front of me. Hi guys, thank you for clicking on today's video. My name is Alexis and this is baby Tyler. I am so excited to do today's video, even though my story is crazy, as you can see within the title. It's not your average birth story. I'm just so excited to share him with you guys. He is the best baby. He's so sweet, so calm. Matthew and I just feel so blessed by God, so grateful for him, and just our story. I think every story is so beautiful, so unique, whether you've had a super great pregnancy, great birth, or a really hard pregnancy and a hard birth. Each story is so beautiful, so I'm excited to share mine. So if you did like today's video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. That would honestly help us out so much. I'm really trying to grow this channel and just kind of build a community with you guys and talk with you and make this a fun and open space. So to start my story off, I kind of want to share with you guys when I found out that I had preeclampsia. So it was my last doctor's appointment. And to be honest, I really didn't want to go. I really wasn't in the mood. I was tired that day, and I was trying every excuse not to go, but my husband was so awesome and he took me, and I went up to my appointment, went in, paid in the cup as I always do, and I was doing my last non-stress test before giving birth. And so I was sitting there and I felt a lot of discomfort. My upper abdomen was hurting, I was seeing stars. It was just not a good deal for me. And so I asked the nurse, I was like, hey, I'm feeling a lot of discomfort and was wondering if that was normal. And she's like, not normal, let me go check your urine. She comes back and she goes, hey, so you have a lot of protein in your urine. I'm gonna go bring in the doctor. I think you have preeclampsia. So at this point, I'm freaking out. I'm worried. Preeclampsia is not a good thing to hear. So the doctor comes in and checks my reflexes, and they were really harsh, and he's like, okay, that's another sign of preeclampsia. I think you for sure have it, but I want you to go to the hospital and see, you know, what they can do. I want you to do a blood test, tell them we sent you over. And so immediately I go downstairs and my husband goes and rushes me to the hospital. and I'm panicking at this point. I'm so scared. I'm just praying that at least my husband can be in the hospital with me. And unfortunately, my husband was not able to be with me, which broke my heart. I was already so scared, and just being alone was horrible. And being pregnant too. I think when you're pregnant, I mean, that alone is a hard situation to be in, but when you're pregnant, you have so many emotions, and I was just so emotional, and it was so scary and so hard, and to do it alone just sucked. But I'll show you guys kind of what that experience was like. So I am in the hospital as of right now by myself. I have preeclampsia, and it is really, really scary. A lot of protein in my urine, TMI, but it's true. Yeah, it's just hard. Just not having my husband here is really, really scary. They're gonna be monitoring me for 24 hours. So that means I'm gonna have to be at the hospital for 24 hours. I think I get discharged at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. I'm just really scared, and I cried a lot. And I feel like I'm gonna cry more, but I don't know, I'm just scared of what's gonna happen to Tyler. I'm scared of what's gonna happen to me. Like, I don't want anything to happen to us. So that part can just be really, really scary. And I'm just like sitting here like by myself. You know, it's just like not how you picture giving birth, or being in the situation. You picture it being, you know, scary, but also happy and, you know, not lonely. And I just feel really lonely and sad. So that's how I'm doing. I'll update you guys on everything and let you guys know how it all goes. But basically, if things stay the same, I'm gonna get induced. If things get worse, I'm gonna get induced. So yeah. So it is 1:10 a.m. and I'm up. I fell asleep a little bit. But I don't know, I have like a lot of fears. I keep thinking about like what would happen if I died, or I don't know, just like really dark stuff. If anything happens to the baby. I got an IV in me, I don't know if you can see. As of right now, I feel like the safest bet is just to give birth, but I don't know what's gonna happen. So I'm praying for that. I'm praying that I'm able to just give birth and have him safe and me safe, but I just am scared to go home now because I'm afraid of me having a seizure. So it's crazy. It is like 6 a.m. and they just took some blood work right here for the lab to see if my results are still the same, and if they are, then I'm having my baby today, and if not, then I get to go home. I feel a lot better this morning. I woke up with like just having a lot of positive thoughts and just like not overthinking everything, even though it can be hard at times. But yeah, everything looks good in the sense of I feel like I'm really monitored right now, and they're gonna make the best decision for both me and baby Tyler. So this is scary, but I know it's all gonna work out. So later that night, I was actually able to go back home. It was 9 o'clock, I wanna say, when I got home, so it was really late. It was past the 24 hours. But they basically said that my blood test results looked a little bit better, so they were comfortable with sending me home. And they also expressed, you know, like if you have any of the symptoms of preeclampsia, which is dizziness, headaches that won't go away, you see stars, if you have upper abdominal pain, come in right away. She's like, if you look at me funny, like, let's get this baby out. So I was like, okay. And then I was at home for the rest of the time until I actually was induced and ready to go into labor. So I felt great, honestly, at home. I didn't really feel that much, but then again, I kind of put myself on bed rest, so hi. So I really didn't do anything. Try to soak up all my time being a pregnant mom, you know, just really trying to value that time having him in my belly, because I knew he was gonna be out soon. But then we were on our way to the hospital. So we are in the
car on the way to the hospital to give birth, and I am so excited and so nervous at the same time. Just like the thought of having contractions all night is so scary. But it should be good. I'm gonna get an epidural, which also scares me, but I feel like once epidural's in, I'll be fine from what I've been hearing from friends and family. So that's good. I've been watching videos all morning too, just to like mentally prepare myself, but yeah, I'm really excited as of right now. I feel like when I get there, I'm gonna be a little bit more nervous. I feel like it's not setting in, but I don't know. How are you feeling?
I'm excited. Yeah, it's still gonna take a while. It's not gonna be like, oh, within the hour she's gonna give birth. So part of me is still just waiting for that moment where she's actually close to giving birth.
So we are in the hospital. I am hooked up to the IVs officially, so that's good. I got Matt over there, I don't know if you can see him. We're just chilling. They gave me some Cytotec, and I have my first dose, so that's good. I'm not dilated at all, so I have no idea how long this is gonna take. But if you hear the background noise, that is little Tyler making a bunch of noise. But yeah, so I'm excited. Had some kicking, and yeah, I just can't wait to meet him.
Hey guys, so we're here in the hospital, and I'm just sitting here on the couch laying down. Oh wow, Alexis is just chilling over there waiting for our baby to be born. And just from my perspective, there's a lot of like nothing. Honestly, like you're just literally here just waiting for the most part. Even though I want to do things and I want to help out, like there's really nothing I could do that the nurses would be okay with, you know. And the nurses are troopers at the hospital that we're at, and they're helping out a lot with Alexis. Even every time she has to go to the bathroom, every like 10 minutes or so, they unbuckle her from her devices, her non-stress test stuff, her monitors, everything. And yeah, and the only thing that I could do is, you know, stay here, pray, and just hope for the best, honestly. So it's approximately 7 o'clock a.m. on Friday, June 5th, and Alexis's water broke. It's kind of crazy. It broke naturally too, so we didn't have to force it, which is a good sign, but this is when all the pain starts apparently.
Oh, I'm having a contraction. Oh my god. It's so bad. But yeah, it was crazy. I kept dreaming that my water was breaking, and then I kept feeling this popping sensation, and then I felt like I peed myself, and I was like, oh my god. But I'm glad my water broke, so now he should be coming in the next like 24 hours, which is crazy, but it could be any time, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've actually never heard anyone put it into words before, so I feel like a popping.
So crazy. I'm having contractions every minute to 2 minutes, so they're not going to give me another dose of Cytotec. They're going to wait till my contractions slow down, but it's good that they're keeping up. I have extreme hip pain, and yeah, so that's not been fun. I'm hoping he just comes out soon and that we have a smooth delivery. It's like almost 2 a.m. and I can't go to sleep just because I'm in so much pain, but I'm hoping that everything gets better and that I'm able to just deliver.
Hey guys, so we've been about a couple hours in, and the pains are a little unbearable for Alexis right now. It's unfortunate, but it's getting pretty tough. What do you think, Alexis?
Yes, I can't wait for my epidural. It's so scary getting an epidural, but I need it. I don't know how people like do natural birth. Props to you guys.
How long are your contractions, would you say?
They're like, it just varies. Some are shorter, some are longer.
What about the space between each one?
Oh, I feel like it's like every 5 seconds. I'm like, oh my
like 5 seconds of breathing.
I have like right now, like I don't have one. I feel like it's gonna happen like any. But ever since my water broke, it just like is getting worse and worse and worse. And I want to order it now because it usually takes around like an hour to get your epidural. So an hour from now, it's gonna be like way worse. So I think it's just best if I get it now. But I'll keep you guys updated on everything.
You know, also keep in mind that we were told that it takes about, what, 40 minutes to an hour for an anesthesiologist to come in here and provide the epidural, so the pains are just gonna get worse. You gotta plan a little bit ahead, not too much, but you know, enough to give yourself time to stay still for the shot and not be in pain.
Right.
So, yeah, here we go.
So I just got my epidural in. This tube right here is the epidural. I'm actually having a contraction right now. I can feel it. I feel the pressure. Don't feel the pain as much anymore. So I'm really grateful for that. I can still move my legs a little bit. But I am so grateful for the epidural. And if you are deciding whether or not to get it, I am all for it. It didn't hurt. It was just a really smooth process, so I'm super grateful for that. Yeah, I thought it was going to be way worse than what it was, and it was just amazing. So I feel so much better, and I feel like I can actually like push him out now. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is the pain that I'm going to have to endure, but I'm really grateful. So I'm going to get a catheter in, which is always fun. And there's Tyler with his heartbeat in the background. But yeah, we're just waiting for him now, so hopefully he comes soon. And there's Matt just chilling over there. So I can't wait. Catheter is in. Didn't hurt at all because of my epidural, so that's amazing. And I don't have to get up and pee anymore and get attached to everything, so I can just be in bed until he's born. But yeah, let's pray that he comes soon, because I'm tired and I want to just hold him and love up on him. So I can't wait to meet him.
So shortly after this, my epidural actually stopped working, which felt horrible. If you did natural labor, if your epidural didn't work, or you waited a long time and you really felt contractions, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those of you who don't, it honestly feels like your hips are breaking in half. Like, to me, it didn't feel like harsh period cramps or like really bad period cramps. It honestly felt like my hips are breaking in half, and I was in excruciating pain. And it just was so frustrating that the epidural wasn't working. So I told my nurse, I was, you know, in tears, basically just saying like, I'm in so much pain, like please, like, can we do something? Can we readjust the needle? Anything. And she's like, okay, well, let me bring the anesthesiologist and readjust the needle and see, you know, if that works. And so I was like, okay, and, you know, just praying and hoping that it was gonna work. And unfortunately, it did nothing. And so I called them in again and I said, hey, can I please have another epidural? Like, I just can't take this. And I was just so scared, you know, I'm like, if this hurts now, like, I can't even imagine what birth is gonna feel like, feeling all this pain, and I'm not even pushing him out. And so they bring in the anesthesiologist. I got my second epidural, and it worked. You know, it worked for a little bit. I was really happy, and then all of a sudden it stopped working. And when I say it wasn't working, what I really mean by that is half of my body was numb. So I felt pressure on one side, but no pain. And then on the other half of my body, I felt all the pain. So that was the weirdest, most painful thing ever. And so they couldn't do anything. They're like, we don't want to go into your spine again. You're gonna have to stick through it. So I'm sticking through these contractions that are coming at, it felt like never ending. So finally it came down to the time where I'm supposed to push, and it's around like 11 a.m., 11:30, I wanna say. And so they're like, let's just do practice one. The doctor's not in yet, but I just wanna see how you push. And so I pushed once, guys, once, and he was crowned. And so they were shocked. They did not expect that to happen. So when he was crowned, they noticed that the bag of epidural was out. And at this point, they were asking me to hold him in because the doctor was not in yet. And so I'm holding him in as best as I can. The epidural bag is out. So I'm starting to feel the pain on the other side. And I'm just in excruciating pain. and I'm holding him and breathing through each contraction, and it by far was the worst pain that I had ever felt. The doctor finally came in 30 minutes later, 8 pushes later, and my baby was born. So he was a total of 8 pushes, and he came out. But the scary thing is the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck. Luckily it was loose, it wasn't tight, but he wasn't breathing, and that scared me so much because I just immediately felt fear. Saw him for 2 seconds, and then I had a bunch of nurses on top of him, and then I heard him cry, and then I started crying, and Matthew and I just like looked into each other's eyes and just felt so relieved and felt like so blessed that he was okay. And like once we heard that, we felt just like huge relief. Shortly after, my nurse had asked me to go to the bathroom. So she took out my catheter and took me straight into the bathroom. And so I couldn't pee, and so she was like, you have a certain amount of time to pee. If you don't pee, then we have to put the catheter back in. So I was like, okay. But she's like, but I also want to let you know, like, we have to get you out of this room. And yeah, so we were packing and getting ready for the room, and then into a wheelchair, and then we were on our way. So she put us at the top floor of the hospital, and as I got into the elevator, I started to get like really nauseous and dizzy, and especially as she was like rolling me, like it was making me really, really nauseous. God bless you. So it was making me really, really nauseous, and so I asked her, I was like, hey, is it normal to feel nauseous and dizzy right now? And then I blacked out.
So basically at this point of the story, when we get to that room, basically she just says that she's not feeling well, she's feeling dizzy, she's feeling queasy, and then we're just having her repeat what she's saying. And at one point, Alexis was literally just staring at the wall and just not responding to anything that we were saying. And this was when it was starting to get crazy and scary, and I knew something was wrong at this point. I was just looking at her, she wasn't responsive. I was trying to get her attention. It's like she faded out or something. I don't know. All I know is that in that moment, she started to roll her eyes back towards like maybe like the top left of like people's eye line. I don't know. She just started looking up left, and then it was almost looked like she was rolling her eyes back, except they were going left. And then slowly but surely she was twitching right. So she was basically looking up and twitching right into her wheelchair, and she's not in the bed at this point. So unfortunately they can't put her on her side because she is having a seizure. And we're yelling, seizure, seizure, like I'm yelling it across the hall too, just because I didn't feel like the nurses were loud enough in the moment, and I was panicking, so I yelled seizure as well. So they brought in a crash cart and everything just to make sure that she's good to go. And basically they had to put her on the floor, and the danger of having a seizure isn't so much the seizure itself, it's what happens during the seizure. During a seizure, you could hit your head against the ground and it will basically knock you out, could kill you. Like there's a lot of different things that could happen. And on top of that, you could also bite your tongue. You could bite your tongue clean off, and you could bleed out, and that's where the seizure is really scary. And so as she was, you know, starting to relax, the doctors pushed me out of the room, and she was starting to calm down finally. And then she was still knocked out, she was passed out. And from Alexis's perspective, she just thought she was passed out, honestly. And she had no idea that she was having a seizure. You're not very conscious of that when it's happening. And she was in the bed. I was just outside in the hallway, panicking, just, you know, praying to God, please save her life. Please don't let this be the end. I hope she's okay. I'm just looking at her from across the hallway into her room, and I'm seeing all the doctors that are surrounding her, and she's just knocked out on her bed. And then 15 to 20 minutes later, which is a pretty long time, she finally comes to. It was such a relieving feeling. I bawled over her. I told her how thankful I was that she was okay, that she was alive in that moment. And it was really scary. And I hope that no one ever has to see a loved one going through a seizure, because in that moment you really think they're dying. And I do not wish that on anyone else. And you know, there are people who've gone through that and who will go through that, who will go through witnessing that. And I hope it doesn't happen to you guys.
So after all that happened, I woke up and I just saw a room, like a tiny room filled with nurses in it. And I was super confused, and they were asking me, do you know where you're at? Do you know why you're here? Are you okay? Just asking me a lot of different questions. And I'm like, yeah, like, you know, just reciting everything back. And my husband looks at me, he goes, honey, you had a seizure. And I freaked out, and they immediately took me into the ICU. My husband was not able to come with me, and that was really hard. Giving birth, not being able to be with my baby. My baby's in the NICU due to not breathing. I'm in the ICU because I just had a seizure, and my husband's not with me and I'm alone. I was really, really emotional. I just was feeling so devastated because I felt like nothing was going my way. I didn't get that experience of like having my baby like lay on top of me and hugging him like I saw him for a split second, which I was so grateful that he was okay and first and foremost, and that's a blessing within itself. But I just wasn't able to hold him, you know, that just broke my heart. I just was feeling just a lot. And my husband was alone. My husband was able to go visit Tyler in the NICU, and this is kind of what he looked like. So he was tied up to so many different tubes. He was on oxygen, but I'm so grateful, like this was totally God. So within 24 hours, Tyler was breathing on his own, eating on his own, just making so many progressions, and I just felt so blessed. Like that was what was getting me through, was knowing that my son was okay, knowing that he had the support of his dad, and getting those videos just made me so happy. Later that day, like I want to say like 9 o'clock, I was able to see my husband again, and they put me back into the maternity ward. And it was so awesome being able to see my husband again. And then my favorite part honestly was like being able to hold my baby for the first time and just look into his beautiful eyes, his beautiful big eyes, and just see our baby, you know. I wasn't able to be in the NICU with my husband, so the first time we saw our son, we weren't together, or held our son, we weren't together. The hard thing about the NICU that I wanted to share that was really hard for us is that as soon as I went in to go see Tyler, Matthew had then lost his rights to go see him due to COVID. So since you know, when it was my turn to visit him, Matthew didn't see our son until we brought him home from the NICU. It was just a crazy adventure that I'll share later. But that is part 1 of this birth story. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to hear part 2 of how we dealt with everything with him in the NICU, please stay tuned to the next video. It should be about a week after this video comes out. So I hope you guys watched that and enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you guys also would like a nursery tour. I worked really hard on his nursery, so let me know if that's something that you would be interested in. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day.